Hi, it's Jez here. Welcome back. And if you're new, thanks for joining us. So I made a little scrappy thing. I was doing a blog hop, and the theme was reduce, reuse, recycle. And so this is packaging, and these are just a load of scraps, which I thought handy when you're making clusters. And you just want a little bit, you could go through and just rip a bit out for something. So it was also a way of having some nice little bits in one place that were easy, and actually it's quite a nice little thing to have. And the thing that I've used for the outside is recycled packaging, and just typical, I didn't get one out ready there. So what it is oh, excuse me, the little cardboard packet where you get stamping dimensionals in. So these are our sort of foam things. So I have oodles of these. I've not chucked them away because it's quite a nice card, and I thought I'll do something with it. And this is the first thing that I've done with it. So as I say, this is for scraps for junk journaling, and I thought I could make one with sort of leftover bits from digitals as well. They'd probably be handier to keep somewhere in a file than the drawers that I've got where things go flying out. That was my thoughts anyway. And I needed to write down, I needed a bit of paper to write down all the blog hops that we're doing, and it took me ages to find a bit of paper like that. I didn't want to use a new notebook because my house is full of scraps. So I have got that is just a section of what I've got, junk mail, that really needs sorting through. And I thought, well, I could get bits. If I show you this bit, so there's sections there that are white. Now, if you can be bothered, I can be bothered to save the planet. I can be bothered to just go through and find and make little notebooks for scrappy notes. So that's what I thought I would do. So because this is like junk mail that's come through the door, some of it does have my address on it. So I'm just going to try and find bits that don't, so that I can show you what I'm doing. Okay, so I've gone through and created this pile here of potential scrap pads. I have an embarrassing amount of sort of junk mail that needs sorting, and yeah, so some of it's got writing on the other side, and some of it hasn't. And so now I was going to do it so it sort of fitted this as a cover. You could do it any size you want, but I thought if I create something that's fairly pretty, then it's more likely to be used and not likely to get lost. If it's not pretty, people might think it's a load of rubbish and chuck it away. So I thought, there we go, I've now got a kind of template, but I just thought I could give, I've got my son working from home at the moment. Ed could take one to the office, could have one in the kitchen, one on my desk here, and yeah, I'm going to end up with strips like this, which I'm just going to put in the recycling. Don't need those bits. So here we go. Oh, nice little pumpkin there. Pumpkin, puffin even. So get rid of him. So that is all I'm doing, is ripping them up to make a free notepad, really, saving the planet a bit. And then when you've made your notes, you just chuck it all in the recycling again. So, and it saves you buying a notepad. So that's what I do with the bits of paper. Now I do have envelopes. I've got, you know, when you get sort of return envelopes, so I've got a few of those. So I'm gonna keep all the intact envelopes. I am doing a project in the future where I'm going to do something with envelopes. Right, let's just take the edge of that off. So now the rest of the envelope, I have got oodles of envelopes that I can use in journals. So, and there's an endless supply, isn't there? An absolute endless supply. So right, so we'll take that bit off. So I'm not bothered about keeping them, but I can write on that bit. I do actually like the inside, if I'm honest, as well. I like the inside. Can I get 2 out of this? Yeah, let's just get 2, although we're going to have a problem on the other side of that one because of the window, but I can write on both sides of this one. And that's quite nice. Most of the time our insides of our envelopes are quite boring, but I think that's quite nice. Nice little grid. So there we go. Right, what we got here? Right, we've got a bit of an envelope there. So I'm just going to rip that down there. Doesn't matter if some of your bits are not the right size. Chuck that. There we go. So there we go. Look, this is like your annual mortgage statement, although I'm now paperless, so I don't need it. I won't be getting this anymore. So there we go. Nice piece of that recycling. Is that clip? No. So, oh, bit of white on the bottom there. This is all generic information. There we go, white on the bottom there. We'll get rid of that. So yeah, so I'm not giving away any secrets there. So there we go. I'll do that one in half. That'll give me 2 sheets. So I'm doing this. Really, I'm watching videos on YouTube. Well, I'm not. I'm filming, aren't I? But you know, I could be watching Netflix, watching YouTube, just ripping up, doing my bit for the planet. Creating some notebooks. So I mean, this one we've got. It's all a bit boring, really. Some of these were the wrong side. Where's my original bit? There we go. Go down that. So they will end up in the recycling eventually, but useful until then. Get rid. that down. Take a bit off the edge there. Off the edge there. Another one of them. I loved that. It's a really nice window there. I might keep that for something else. Some more envelopes. So you get the picture of what I'm doing. I've got absolutely oodles of things. Oh, what else have I got here? So here's a little bit of this. Now I thought that I can get written on. I can get written on. So even that, you can write on that. And there. Clear that off. You get so much junk through the post. Where I can, I go, nah, paperless please. Cut down on all of this. Anything else here that's a little bit different. There we go. That, and tear that up. There's some nice white space on the back. White space there. Everything else, chuck it away. So you get the idea. So I'm going to carry on getting these all prepared. Okay, so I've gathered some together. They're not quite exactly the same size, but I don't think they need to. Now I forgot that I created like a gusset. So I'm just going to do that. And then that makes all my pages just slightly too long. Never mind. So I am going to put that on my line I've drawn there, and I'm going, that's on there, I'm going 1/4 of an inch. No, I'm not. Do 1/2 inch. Can't even remember what I did. I did 1/4. Just looks slightly bigger. Probably the way I've got that. 1, 2, there we go. So that gives a bit of room for all my bits of paper. So we'll get it all sort of straight and flat at the top there, even at the bottom. Yeah, that's a good size there. So we're slightly too big and slightly too wide in places. Now I might just take my long scissors, and on the side it's not very much, so I might just trim down. Don't have to be perfect, it's just scrap, but I do like things to look nice. So I think that's the side pretty well, but there's quite a lot of there on the bottom. So what I'm going to do is make sure it's completely up to the top. I'm going to put a clip on, a couple of clips on, hold that in place, a bit like what I do when I trim a journal, and I can trim those sides. So let me just bring in a little board here. Might put a clip up there as well. That's it. So we can trim down there. So let me get my knife. So that's the edge there. Let's go following the lines. I'll just trim these down. It's just the quickest and easiest way. Obviously, if I'd remembered that little gusset I was going to make, I would have ruler ripped these to be the right size. But I forgot. There we go. So that is all for the bin. That was an accident waiting to happen. And that's now neat along the bottom, neat on that side, pretty all right on that side. Although I'm not a fan of that sheet for some reason. That sheet's sticking out in a way I don't like. Didn't rip it very well down there, so we'll just give it a trim. So if this was like the other book where I did scraps for a junk journal, I wouldn't really be bothered about any of this. There we go. So that's that bit. So now what I'm going to do, it's a long time since I've done this, I'm going to put those front sheets. I might put something on the front that fits better, because that's slightly smaller, so let's do that. Yep. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a clip on that side and a clip on that side. So the pad's all like that, and I'm gonna put some glue along the top to hold them together. I will put we'll put some clips along the top eventually. I've done this before and it allows you to just rip your pages off, which is quite cool. I'm doing this with collard glue. First time I ever did this, I did it with PVA, so that would work. So just putting glue along so that all the top bits are just sort of held together. Like you get with a pad that's glued along the top, and then you can rip the pages quite easily. So I'm going to get another clip now, there, so that it's not touching the glue but it's holding the block together. Oh, that one's not big enough. I say with my junk journal scraps. Didn't bother with this, just stapled it in. Because I'm literally going to rip them out. So now I'm going to leave that to dry. So whilst I leave that to dry somewhere, we can cover this. Now for this one, I covered the inside with vintage music paper because it's for all my vintage scraps. But this is a notebook, so it doesn't actually have to be covered at all. So, and I covered this with tea-dyed Dandy Designs. But I'm going to do this one in a sheet that's not tea-dyed. So, let's have a little look-see. What shall I use? I might use a nice fresh freezer. Yeah. So I'm going to stick that to that. So put glue all over this. Again, I'm using Collall. You could use whatever glue you like. I do like Tombow as well. I'm running low on that. So doing that, I might give it a little bit of a spread with my spreader. So this is what I did. All of this is exactly the same, except on the other one I glued both sides. So I put it up towards the edge so that I only have to cut two sides. Okay, use my spreader or a bone folder. That's all done, and then I can just trim the edges off, putting my blade up against the card. It's quite thick, so it's easy to follow the edge there. There we go. So as I say, there is no need to cover the inside, but you could if you wanted to cover the inside as well, but I'm not going to bother because it's for a notepad. Oh, splashed a bit of tea on that one, but it's okay. So I would prefer to leave that to dry for a bit before I bend it. So this one I cut scraps out using the alphabet alamode, I don't know, not French. And then I used the dies here that look like a ripped out Blossoming Happiness, that looked like a ripped out bit of paper, which I thought was quite apt. So I'm going to do that again. So so I cut out 2 strips of that to go top and bottom, so that sort of framed the words. And I'm just going to put, I think I might put notes in this one. because that's what it's for, making little notes. T. There's an E. We'll get the T out in a minute. E. S. Just find it easier if I don't have both these sheets out at the same time. So let's get on T now. T. So that'll go across quite nicely. So I want some fresh freesia. So here's my scraps of fresh freesia. Probably get all I need out of that. So I can cut N-O-T-E-S and that. And there's a bit of me that's thinking, would white be better? Would that stand out better? Don't know. We'll cut this out and we'll see. And if it doesn't stand out well enough, then I'll cut it again. So I cut that along the edge there. Just put it on the edge of the sheet like that and secure it with some washi whilst it goes through my die cutter. And then obviously I'll cut a second one because I need two, top and bottom. So I'll get them cut out. Obviously this needs to be face down. Won't cut any paper, the cutting edge is facing up. Did anybody notice that? I only noticed it when I looked up at my iPad and saw what I was filming, and it was like, that's the wrong way round, Jersey Burke. So there we go. That's how it's going through my die cut. So they're all cut out. I think they look all right. I just thought afterwards that maybe it would look a bit better if I'd used white card, but I think that's all right. A couple of these just need poking out. There we go. I think I did all of those. Right, so now I should be able to fold these creases back in. Yeah, I can. Just if you do it too soon, it shifts a bit. That's all. So give that a bit of a crease along there, and then that one. Crease that. There we go. And then we're going to stick these down. So I stick these edges down first, and then that gives me somewhere, it allows me to space the letters really well. So you could always use, if you didn't want to use scraps, you could use post-it notes, you could cut down file paper. It just pretties it up. There we go. And then we'll do the other one and we'll trim it afterwards. I'm saying this all stemmed from me needing a piece of paper to write down the fact that I need to film this and other things, and I came up with this idea. I'm really liking my scrappy one as well. It's very useful. You could do all sorts of scraps. Scraps of pattern paper that you might use in a scrap busting project. That'd be cool. Like that. So now I've got notes. So unlike the other one, I can stick the middle one in and then I get the spacing right. The other one was even set of can't find me oh, there it is. It was an even number of letters, so it was harder to line them up, but with an odd number of letters then you can do the middle one. In the middle, and it helps with the spacing. So there we go. And these little glue bottles are perfect for attaching these letters. I could have cut them out with these foam things and then it could have stood up a bit, but I didn't think about it, because it's not my intention that this is a stick it in your handbag one. If it was, I wouldn't want to stick it up on sticky foam. This is like on your desk sort of thing, so I could have stuck them up. Obviously made with this colour, it's gonna be for me. Stick it down. If I was like my friend Jill, Paper Daisy Crafting, I'd have used a ruler. She'd probably be like covering her eyes now thinking, Jez, get a ruler, measure. Then you know everything's in the precise place, but I'm not bothered. There we go. I think that's about straight. Straight-ish, straight enough. So let me just get my little mopper. There we go. I think that's cute. Now, I'm wondering if my notebooks dry. I left it, when I use PVA, I kind of left it overnight for a day. This has been about 20 minutes. But that is held together pretty well. And if I do it from the back, comes off quite nicely. So now I just need to attach it in here. So I'm going to put glue on the back so the back page is attached. put some more glue on the top so it attaches to the top as well. Plenty of glue going on there. So that can go right up to the top. So it is attaching along there and attaching to the back. And then what we'll do is we'll stick these back on to hold it in place, and we'll leave it again to dry. And then it should be ready. Okay, so it is the next day, and so this has been drying overnight, and it's now all sorted. That it has oozed a bit, so that first sheet there is stuck to the top a bit, so I'm just gonna pull that one out. I'll write a note on that. So now we have got a little notebook there where the pages can be written on and then ripped out, and it's all recycling, all recycled stuff. You could make it with, you know, paper that's not recycled, but I just thought that was a cute idea for reuse and repurpose, and I just love these dies. Love this one. This is going to be so handy for when I'm doing collaging and clusters and things. So when I've used them all up, I'll just attach some more. I don't know if I mentioned this, I did try doing eyelets, but that actually didn't work. So I've just stapled them. So once they're done, I'll just staple some more, and I covered the staples with that, and I can redo that. So yeah, loving it. So hope you enjoyed that. Hope make you look at rubbish in a new light, and I shall bring you another video very, very soon. All details over on nigezza.co.uk, link down below to products used. And yeah, thanks for joining me. Bye.